No good can come from that.
You lose everybody.
The good times sounded really awesome, but this part does not sound like it was worth it at all.
He goes, dude, I can make you rich. How would you like to make $1 million a day?
What if someone doesn't pay, though?
I said, what do I need to do? He says, you willing to do it illegally? I said, absolutely.
So this moron loses all your money. What's going through your head at this point? Like, I'm going to get killed?
I'm dead, yeah. I'm like, this is over. I'm done.
I got to tell you, the book, man, it makes me feel like I really missed out on some amazing parties.
We definitely had a good run.
Man, I also maybe missed out on some prison time. So there's that.
You didn't miss out on that.
Yeah, maybe less FOMO.
That's the FOMO you don't want to be part of.
That's right. Yeah, I don't even. Look, it's hard. We're not supposed to glorify criminal activity, but partying is not criminal activity. It sounds just like you had a really good time in college, and after that,
it's like the Wolf of Wall Street. Just without the stock market,
right? And it's just a lot of fun times with minimal consequences until then they weren't so minimal anymore.
Yes.
Well, the book starts with your mom just basically packing up and leaving with your sister. So what happened there? Because that's kind of an early primal wound that you don't just get over.
Yeah, I think you gotta understand that two couples didn't get along. My father and mother divorced. And as a child, you don't know what's going on because you're young and you're seeing them fight like cats and dogs, and you're like, man, what's going on? But at that age, my sister's 4, I'm 8, and I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on, but something bad's going to happen. You feel it. And I remember my mom packed up and put everything in the station wagon that day, and my sister's crying, and like I'm starting to cry, and I'm like, shit, man, what's happening? Then I remember she drove off, and my dad's saw me crying, and my dad's like, no, we don't cry in this household. Come on, go get your volleyballs, go get your surfboard, we're going to the beach. And I remember I didn't see my mom for like another 9 months until it was like Thanksgiving. She's like, oh, you're gonna get to see your mom, my dad told me. And I was like devastated. I'm talking to her on the phone, and back then you're like, you don't have cell phones. So
there's no FaceTime.
There's no such thing as FaceTime or Skype. None of that's around, and I'm just bummed out. Like, what did I do? I tell my dad, like, Dad, did I not shower? I mean, why is Mom leaving? And you don't know at that
So you're
age.
like thinking, did I not clean my room enough?
Something I did wrong.
Look, people handle things in different ways, but it sounds like they just handled this so poorly. You don't tell it, like, how do you not explain to your kids what's going to happen? You separate siblings. You don't allow them to have emotions in one house. You call it like you're just. What were they thinking?
They weren't, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we obviously we make some mistakes in life, and my dad talks about that in the documentary Cocaine Quarterback. He says, you know what, I regret what I did, and I up. And my dad admits it, and at least he takes responsibility now, right?
Yeah.
So,
but
that was nice
he
to
wasn't
hear.
in good shape though, like mentally, right?
Yeah, drinking a lot of alcohol and just he's a partier. Now I see where I got it. Because eventually I fell down that path.
Man, you were 8 and your sister was 4?
4, yeah.
Gee, are you close with her now?
We talk. Listen, like, obviously I went to federal prison, and you lose everybody. And my sister...
Tell me, but what does that mean, though? Like, you lose everybody, why? Because they can still call you, or you can call them.
Yeah, you could call them, but a lot of people get scared, I think. And I tell people I can count my true friends on one hand, because that's the only people that stayed in contact, and 2 of those are my parents, right? So a lot of people get scared. A lot of people are really just enjoying that ride when I had money.
Scared? Why are they scared of you at this point?
People get scared because you're in prison. A lot of people are worried, am I going to get in trouble for associating with him?
Oh, I see.
So,
as a lawyer, that doesn't make a ton of sense to me because you're not guilty because someone called you from prison.
No, but I lost, who I thought was my best friend, gone. All my college buddies gone. Like no one would reach out. No one would put money on my books. No one would accept my letters, my collect phone calls.
Oh,
and
that sucks.
It was a dark moment of my life. I'm not going to lie. But the guys that did stay, are the guys that were there for me from day one. Like my fullback from USC, Brandon Hancock. I'll never forget this. He would come visit me every month in prison, right?
Wow.
He'd buy me microwave burritos, black coffees out of the vending machine, like stuff that you don't have while you're inside a prison cell. And for me, that was like, wow, that's a good friend.
Yeah.
And that day I got released on March 4th, 2024 from federal prison, my dad and my fullback were there to greet me, and that was an amazing feeling.
Wow. God, that would be... Prison, I mean, I've done some volunteer work in prison, and so I've been inside a prison with people who are there for crimes that are more heinous than money laundering generally, like serious violence, gang stuff. Usually it's murder of some variety. And look, like, it's a weird, you're one of the only people who can probably relate to this. It's a weird dichotomy, right? Because they're like really vulnerable, showing you their job resume. They're trying to speak English if they don't speak English as their first language, and they're really friendly and they're hugging you and stuff. And you're like, wonder what that guy's in here for. And the coordinator's like, oh, he killed like 7 members of a rival gang. And you're like, man, that doesn't jibe with who I expect those people to be based on watching movies of gang members.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then she's like, we have to understand, he's 45 years old. He did this when he was 17. And you're like, wow. How long has this guy been in prison? Yeah. Holy shit, he grew up in here. This is awful.
Yeah,
you know, it's and you met probably a lot of people like that.
A lot of lifers, a lot of guys that were never getting out.
Yeah.
You know, they call them, these guys, they give them like 3 life sentences. Like, well, why do you got to give them 2 extra life sentences? Mm-hmm. Wasn't the 1 life sentence enough? You know, it's like what's that going to do?
I mean, some of that's like you can be paroled for one thing, but not another thing. I mean, it's also like it's got to be on the books. But functionally, it doesn't make sense when somebody gets 1,000 years in prison.
Yeah.
Okay, how's that going to work?
But I mean, the first prison I went to, United States Penitentiary of Lompoc, I remember in my unit there must have been 80% lifers. Because I got sentenced to so much time, 21 and a half years, and I'm young, right? I'm 32 years old at the time. Ugh. And now I'm at this high security level, and I'm around like murderers and Hell's Angels and mafia associates and Black Hand, Mexican mafia associates, cartel bosses. I'm like, holy smokes, I'm just the USC kid from Redondo Beach. What am I doing here? Like, how did I get to this level?
That's got to be pretty scary. We can talk a little bit more about prison later. I'm just blown away by it seems like money laundering. It almost, were you charged with mostly white collar crime then?
Yeah, RICO, which was racketeering, obviously illegal bookmaking, money laundering, and distribution of cocaine. That's where I got.
Okay, because I'm thinking when somebody's f***ing with spreadsheets, it's like, why are you putting them in the prison with the mafiosis?
It's just this damn drugs that got me.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, well that makes a little bit more sense because I was confused at first. I'm like, this guy's guilty of manipulating an Excel spreadsheet essentially. No. All right, so you grow up, you live for sports, you live for your dad's approval from the sound of it. At least initially, but he's, I guess now they would call it emotionally unavailable.
I like that line.
Back then, I don't know, normal dad stuff probably. And
normal
for some
dad,
people.
That's not one of those dads that going to tell you he loves you, right. Like he just wants you to go play sports and excel at it.
Yeah. But one thing you mentioned that was interesting was when you did well, he would say like, that's my son. Look, isn't he good? It makes you kind of sad, though, because, like, that's the only way he was capable of expressing any of this. And I get a picture of a guy that's, like, I can only imagine what your grandfather was like on his side, right? Just emotionally stunted guy who can only be like, look, man put ball in net, and you're like, God, Dad, you need to go sing Kumbaya in a therapist's office for a decade or something, man. Kick your head around.
No doubt. Yeah, like, it was never... you did good on your schoolwork, or like, I love you, son, pat you on the back. It was that never happened. Like, that happened once I went to prison. How funny is that? Like, now we're saying I love you, right? Like, well, now it's working. Like, it took me this long.
Yeah, like, what, I had to go to federal prison to get a frickin' Christmas card?
Yeah.
Come on, man. So you join a frat in college. You realize how much everybody's overpaying for Coke was your big takeaway?
Yeah. Dude, I grew up literally as this blue-collar kid, right? And my dad was a construction worker.
Yeah.
And I get to USC, and my eyes are like, whoa, where am I at? Like, I do not belong here. American Express black cards, never seen a black card. BMWs, Mercedes,
These are your frat brothers.
Frat brothers. Like, and I'm driving my grandfather's 1989 Toyota Camry that was given to me when he passed.
What year was it?
We're in 2002.
So we're in, like, how is this thing still run territory?
Exactly. Okay. And I'm embarrassed. I don't even want to bring it to school. Sure. And I'm watching these kids move, and they got nice Prada and Gucci. I don't know anything about that. I'm just a surfer kid with Quicksilver and Billabong stuff, right? And
I feel like that still flies.
It flies.
Oh, I love the deliberately laid back blue collar look. Yeah. It's my aesthetic.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, how am I going to survive? Like, they're asking me to go out to dinner with them, and I'm like, I don't have 2 nickels to rub together.
Yeah.
So I'm just like embarrassed, right? I'm like, I got to study for my test. You know, I had an excuse for everything. And then enough was enough. I was like, man, I'm watching these guys party, and I haven't partied yet. My dad was, like I said, very strict. Don't drink. It's going to cost you in the long run.
Because he
was an alcoholic.
Right, okay.
So I was scared. Like I knew alcohol was bad because my dad had ruined his life. I'm like, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink. And then come sophomore year, I'm in this fraternity, and they're like, dude, you have to drink. It's like part of being in a fraternity. Like,
I was going to ask, you can't be like, I'm sober if you join, what is it, Beta? Or whatever.
Yeah. Like Betas, they're known for partying, and they're known for doing blow. And I'm like, what's my dad going to do? Come up here and spank me? You know? So I was just like, I had a couple beers. I was like, man, now I see why my dad told me not to drink. I felt like Superman. I was like, this is awesome. And then in Beta, I see all these guys doing the coke, and I'm like, wow, I've seen this, but I've never done it. I would never even cross that line. And I did some, and I was like, oh God, made me want to shit right away.
Of course.
Right? Like,
That's funny because it's like people go, really? And then it's like, remember when you had that cup of coffee? Times 11.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute here. And I'm asking these guys, like, what do you guys pay for this? Like, I'm just curious, right? And they're like $100 a bag.
And the bag, for people who don't know, like, is the size of 2 thumbnails.
Yeah, exactly. 2 thumbnails. I'm like, wow, $100 for that. And then my mind, my hustle mindset starts thinking. And I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. I grew up in Redondo Beach. I had friends that were part of a Mexican gang.
There's no way they were paying $100.
There's no way these guys were. And they were doing it all the time. And they were selling it. And I was like, man, if I remember correctly, these guys were selling it like for what they're buying for $100, they're selling it for like $40, right? So I made a call. I called one of my friends that was from a gang in Redondo, a Mexican gang, and I said, "Hey, Scraps, what are you getting? Like those grams? They're buying them up here for $100 a gram." He goes, "What?" He goes, "Dude, I can make you rich."
Tell me more.
I said, "Scraps, are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to front you an ounce for $700."
Break down how many.
So there's 28 grams in an ounce.
Okay, so 28 bags.
So if 28 bags, if I sold them for $100 like this other guy's doing, that'd be $2,800. But I'm like, no, I want to undercut the guy that's selling it for $100. My business mind's like, I could still sell it for $65 or $60, and I'm still making, 300% markup.
Yeah,
I'm doing the math. I'm like, okay, 28, and I'm like, okay, dude, I'm only getting it for like $25 a gram. So I'm like, dude, I could sell it for 50 and still double my money. So I'm like, I set the price at 60, and I'll never forget this. He came to USC, Scrap. He came to USC, and he gave me this styrofoam container. Like, I thought it was a burger and fries, right? And he goes, "Here you go, oh." And I open it up, and there's 8 ounces of Coke. And he says,
8 ounces?
8 ounces. I thought I was only getting 1, right? He goes, "Let's see how you do." And I didn't have money, so he's fronting it to me.
Right. And what is that? That's like $4,500 or something.
Yeah, it's $5,600.
$5,600. You can tell where my math is.
So I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. I don't even know how do I weigh out a gram. Like, I didn't know anything. He's like, okay, here's your gram bags. Here's your scale, and he's showing me, okay, put the spoon in here, scoop it in, and he's showing me how to do it in his minivan, right? And doing it in the parking lot of Beta.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah. I'm like, okay. And I said, he says, Owen, just undercut the market.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's easy. He goes, this stuff's a lot better than they have. Trust me.
That was my other question. Is the stuff the guys are getting is like half decongested.
They're getting it at the Arco gas station. There's a Mexican guy that just got off of work painting houses, and he's selling gram bags to these fraternity kids for $100, and it's stepped on with baby lactose.
Right.
So no wonder I had a shit, right?
Right. Baby laxative. Yeah, right.
So baby laxative.
So it's that plus the normal effect of stuff. But so you're just like, I'll just give these guys the pure whatever cocaine.
What I'm getting.
Why bother cutting it at that point? Make it 300% already.
And I remember that that summer, obviously we're moving into the fraternity house, and school's about to start, and I have double days for USC football. And I'm like, man, how am I going to be able to juggle this? And I told my roommate, and I said, hey, I got an offer for you. He says, what? He says, I said, I got this Coke. I said, I weighed out these gram bags. A lot of the betas and all the sorority girls love this stuff. I said, why don't we do a deal? Every time you sell 1 ounce, you get 1 gram on me, because I already knew he liked to party.
Oh, I see.
And he's like, oh, I love that idea. And I'll never forget this, Jordan. I got back from practice, literally maybe 6 hours later, and I get there, and my roommate's just yacked out of his mind, and he's like, dude, I got bad news. I'm like, what happened? Like, he's high as a kite. I'm thinking like he spilled it or dropped it down the toilet. He's like, we got bad news. I said, what's the bad news? He goes, we're out of cocaine. I'm like, oh. I said,
you put it all up your nose?
I did. I said, did you put it all up your nose? He goes, look in the sock drawer. And I opened the sock drawer, and there's just 20s and 100s just full.
Oh, he sold it
He
all.
sold everything.
Oh, in a day,
in a few hours.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit, I think I'm onto something, Jordan.
It's almost like this stuff
I
sells
was
itself.
like, yeah, I was like, I didn't even have to do this.
Yeah.
I said, I was at practice. Imagine if I could do this every practice. And literally that's what it turned into, you know. It snowballed, no pun intended, literally, to where I was going to practice, making money while I was practicing, coming back, getting money from my roommate.
Yeah.
He's high as a kite. He's happy. All his girlfriends are happy. You know, everyone's happy because now we got this Coke that's half the price, and everyone's just like looking at me like, God, what genius. Like, what else can you get?
Right. And the answer is more cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine.
Yeah.
Oh, you're having problems sleeping? Let me get you Xanax. And got the Xanax. And then, oh, you want to do a little ecstasy? No problem. Hey, Scraps, can we bring an ecstasy? And, you know, he'd bring me 1,000 pills.
1,000. Wow. But then if you're selling to every sorority and every frat at USC.
It goes fast. And he's giving them to me for $3, and I'm selling them for 20.
$20.
I'm doing the markups. I'm like, wow, this is insane.
It is. How much money were you making week to week?
I was making average of like $2,000 a week.
Okay.
But
as a kid, though,
as a
man.
19-year-old kid in college that had the only job I ever had was working at a surf shop. Right?
My spending money was probably like $2,000 a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And my dad was like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what? Take it easy, man."
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll stop eating lunch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the times have changed, right? Everything's so expensive now.
Well, but like this is in the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's, or 2002, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, so we went to college about the same time.
Yeah.
So it's, you can't do anything in, I went to Michigan. California, it's probably a similar school, but California is way more expensive than Michigan. In Michigan, I remember being like, I can't afford to go drinking. It's like $50 at the end of the night. I can't afford. But all the California kids and all the New York kids, they didn't care because their parents were like, everything's a third of the price in Michigan.
Yeah.
So if we were going to give you, I don't know, $1,000 in spending money per month, those people could live like kings on that in Michigan.
No doubt.
But now you grew up poor, but this is like, not only are you rich as shit now in college, you're a man of status because everybody wants to invite you to every party because you're the guy with the stuff. They're never going to exclude you from anything, and people are going to buy you drinks because, like, if you're running low on stuff and that guy bought you a drink and that guy didn't, this is the one who's getting the bag, even though he still has to pay for it.
Yeah.
So like now you're the man, and you have a ton of money. Like,
I'm making money, and I'm hustling, and now the guys on the football team are seeing me take some performance enhancing drugs, and I'm starting to get big, and I'm on this juice now, and people are like, man, how are you getting so big? Like, I got that too, you know, and I'm going down to Tijuana.
They don't test football
They do.
players?
They test you, but during the summer you don't get tested. So when season starts in like September, you start. So I knew how to get there and get them off the stuff.
I see.
In time for season. So I'd get guys that are injured, and they're like, dude, I got a torn ACL. Okay, let's get you some DECA, some sustenance, some growth hormone. Let's put you on that. And like,
so they recover.
They recover fast.
How much muscle you think these guys were gaining in an off season?
Oh man, like 20 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. It just depends what you're on.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, guys were getting big.
20 pounds in like 3 or 4, 2, 3 months?
I was 185 when I came to USC, and I got to 240 when I was playing tight end.
Okay, I was going to say,
so
185, like that's
I
was
a volleyball player. Right?
Okay.
I came there for volleyball, then I ended up walking onto the football team and getting on.
But you're half a foot taller than me. So for people who are, well, we're sitting down.
Yeah.
You're half a foot taller than me. You weighed about 5 pounds more than me, and I'm not that big. I'm like a normal build. And then you weigh.
I'm
you gained
6'3".
55 pounds. Yep. Okay, so you're 5 inches taller than me. That's so. What did you were kind of skinny then at that point? That's
I was
kind
a
of
volleyball player, right? Like you don't need to be thick.
No, but to go to 240.
Yeah.
How long did that take?
It took 3 months.
Oh my!
Yeah, it was.
That's crazy. You must have had stretch marks then.
Oh yeah,
growing that big.
all through my arms.
Oh
underneath.
my God. My God. So, and you're selling to guys that you know and you live with. So I won't say it's risk free, but like
I'm living in a bubble.
Yeah,
right?
no one's getting. People aren't getting pulled over with it.
Yeah.
They're not getting. They're not, unless they're flopping out of college or having a medical event. Nobody notices it. Like, oh, look at that beta guy drunk and on cocaine. What? That's not going to make the news.
Never.
And so unless something bad happens, which you're probably lucky it didn't, you're just going to get away with it.
Yeah, and people aren't overdosing on cocaine. You know what I mean?
Not
it's like
really.
They're just staying up.
Yeah. Yeah, not really. I mean, you can obviously, and now of course fentanyl is involved,
Yes.
so
Oh, thank God.
it's dangerous as hell now. So you're buying pills, you're selling the stuff in a couple days, you're buying the coke and get rid of it, and you made the. So how did you make the? Because that's a real football team. You can't just be like, hey, I think I'd like to try this football thing.
Yeah,
right? That's not how that works.
It was an accident, right? My volleyball coach put me on the bench and says, "I'm going to redshirt you." All you don't know, a red shirt means that you're not going to lose eligibility, but you're not going to play this year. So now I'm literally, I got cut from the volleyball team, and I'm like, okay. My coach calls me in the office and he says, hey, you need to work on your arm strength. You need to become stronger when you hit the ball, and you need to work on your vertical jump. And he says, that's the only way you're going to be able to play on this team. So I was so bummed out, right?
Yeah.
I felt like that day I lost that family that I had with the volleyball team. And it felt like that time I was with my mom when she left, right? I was like, I just lost my family. Like my volleyball team was my boys.
So you that like plucked that guitar string.
Yeah, it kind of nicked me. I was
Yeah.
like, now what am I going to do? And I'm scrambling, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to come back to that team. I'm going to be part of that family again. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. And that's when I went to Gold's Gym in Redondo Beach, and I found the biggest bodybuilder. And I said, hey, I just got cut. What do I need to do to work on my arm strength and my vertical jump? He says, you got a set of balls on you? I said, what do I need to do? Mm-hmm. He says, you willing to do it illegally? I said, absolutely. He says, go down to Tijuana and get some performance-enhancing drugs, some anabolic steroids.
Yeah.
And he says, I'll give you the veterinarian to go to.
Oh, he's a veterinarian.
Yeah.
I thought he was just like, go ask around town.
No,
like,
he
how you
gave me
gonna
a
find...
veterinarian to go to. And I remember taking my friend from Redondo, and we literally drive down to Tijuana, and I give them this list, and they're looking at it, and they're like, yeah, we have all this. And they're giving me all these, like, horse pills, animal pills, and I'm just like, I'm literally taping them up, right? And I'm like, my buddy's like, where are you going to put them? I'm like, I'm going to keister them. So I put it around my keister, and I pull up my some compressor shorts. And
so you just taped the pills to your body?
Taped them to my body, right under my balls. And I tell people, like, dude, that was it. That was the day that rush of smuggling these things across the border when the U.S. Customs agent says, are you bringing anything back? And for the first time I lied to him. I said, no, sir, I'm not. You know, I wasn't going to tell him, yeah, I got a bunch of steroids strapped to my balls, right? So he goes like this, and he goes, welcome back to America. And I was like, that was the rush. I tell people that was the rush that I had that I've been chasing the whole time. That I broke the law, and I just beat the customs out of this, and I smuggled my first drug into America, and that's where this thing literally took off.
Jeez.
From that run.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a terrible liar. I'd be bad at this, but I remember bringing porn back on a trip once.
Yeah.
Because I was like, where do you get this? This is pre-internet, right? Or pre-legit porn on the internet. And I remember I had it in a bag, and they pulled me aside. And they're like, we need to do some additional screening. And I was with my friend and his mom. And the guy's like, what's in here? And I was like, don't open that. Which, you can't say that to a cop, right? And he goes, what's in here, kid? And I was like, porn. But my friend's mom is like right there. And he goes, does any of it involve animals or underage kids? And I was like, God, no. And he's like, all right, I got you. And he just shoved it aside. And I was like, and now as an adult, I'm like, wait a minute. He just believed me, but I guess I was credibly scared as hell that my friend's mom was going to see these VHS tapes with porn on it. And so he cut me a break on that one, which is kind of funny looking back at it. So, yeah, I would never be able to, like, you bring it back anything? And I would be like, I got to be so readable. You're a better liar than me, I think. But so you get this rush from bringing this back, and then do you just think, like, I need to do that again?
Yeah, I just keep going back. I'm like realizing, okay, now I'm taking it. Everyone's seeing me take it, and they all want it. I'm like, okay, I'm that concierge, that black market concierge, right? I tell people, like, oh, I can get you anything. They start calling me Dr. O-Dog. My nickname's my name's O-Dog, and then people are calling me Doctor.
Dr. O-Dog, because you can get the drugs.
I can get anything they want.
Wow.
And, they're asking me for just everything and anything, Somas, Xanax, Adderall. I'm like, yeah, I got you. If I don't got you, I got a guy. And I was like the man around town in USC. This 30,000 people at the school, so it's a small town.
Man, and you're partying. There's the stuff in the book. I was just like, oh man, this man has lived a nice life. The spring break stories and stuff, and it's like I'm a 45-year-old man. I never joined a frat because I was like, I don't want to get distracted from school. I mean, nerd alert, right? But I got FOMO at that part of the book. I was like, I've had a lot of fun, but I worked way too hard. I took college too seriously, and I know that people are going to get upset with me for saying that, but it's true. I realized afterwards that. The kids who said C's get degrees, I was like, what a loser. And now I'm like, damn it, that guy went to the same law school as me. How did that happen? Come on, man.
During that era, you got to remember Matt Leinart was dating Paris Hilton. Yeah. Reggie Bush was dating Kim Kardashian. I mean, we were like the NFL team of California. There was no team in LA that was a professional team.
Yeah, because you guys won did you guys win the national?
Yeah, both national championships back-to-back years.
So you guys are like college students and celebrities. That's
everywhere
crazy.
We go, red carpet. Everywhere we eat, free. It was amazing. Like anywhere we would go in Vegas, paparazzis. It was just
really,
yeah.
That's actually kind of scary.
It was
for
that
a kid.
era. Remember that era when paparazzi started to like follow guys to the clubs and the restaurants.
Yeah.
It's like right when that started. That TMZ.
But dude, how old are you? 22.
Yeah, you're 22.
That's not good for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
not good for the head.
The treatment's nice and also not good for you. But having people take photos of you, like be drunk and hang out with women, that's there's no good can come from that. Oh man! But I would also imagine that like you have the celebrity of that, but then you also the other guys are treating you as special because you've got the drugs and stuff, and you can get out at a ticket maybe here and there.
Yeah, you're the man, right?
Yeah, jeez. Yeah. What's the markup on the steroids? I know the drugs is like 300%. What are you selling the steroids for at that point?
The steroids, I was literally buying a bottle of testosterone for $30 and selling it for $300. So 1,000% markup, right?
Wow. So how did this end? Did you just decide to stop selling drugs? And if so, why?
I told myself this is just to get by for USC. My goal was to graduate from USC and get a job with an alumni. That's what people go to USC for, networking. Yeah. And that's what I did. I got a job in real estate working for a big commercial real estate developer out of Brentwood, California. And I was making, my first year out 6 figures, and I was like, "This is great. This is the life."
So that was enough money.
That was cool.
Okay,
I was good with that.
That's interesting. Most people can't do that, right? They're like, "What? Why should I work when I can just arbitrage and not actually do anything and just party all the time?" But you were like, "No, this is not going to last forever."
Yeah, I just knew like eventually my dad's going to wonder how am I making money. Now I got to show him that I have a legit job, right? Because I still fear my old man. And
that's funny.
I'll never forget it. The recession hit in 2007, and I lost that job. Yeah, and that's when I was like, okay, now I'm scrambling again, just like I scrambled before. But what am I going to do? And I'm like, okay, I don't want to get involved in the drugs. Let's do bookmaking, right? I'm going to be a bookie. I love sports. I'm friends with a lot of athletes. I got these A-list celebrities that are partying with us. I got all these fraternity kids with a lot of money. Why don't I just start being the bookie to these guys that I'm basically grown up with that are
I'm gonna also guess the penalties for being an illegal bookie are way lower than a guy holding a kilo of cocaine in his dorm room or whatever.
For sure. It's a slap on the wrist.
Yeah. So, okay, that's not a bad idea, I suppose. And now are you meshing the black market concierge stuff, expertise, I should say, with gambling?
So what I would do is I would have these VIP customers that are quote unquote whales, and I would provide the VIP service to them where like instead of them going to Vegas, I would provide I'd bring Vegas to them. So I'd be like, okay, like I said, okay, so what do you want? Okay, so you want to gamble? No problem. Here's my website. You can gamble on all the sports you need to. What else do you need? Oh, you want an 8-ball in some Patron? No problem. Let me have that dropped off. So that concierge service still came out, but only for my like VIP customers.
Right.
Oh, you're going to a Tiesto concert? Let me get you some ecstasy pills. Let me get you some Molly. Oh, you want some girls? Let me call a couple of my girlfriends I know and just pay for their room and board, and they'll come and hang out with you. Like now it started to be like Vegas, right? But I brought Vegas.
All you had to do is the girls didn't need to make any money off this?
No, the girls make money when the guys are winning, right? So the way the girls make money is if the guys are winning on the tables, or because I have a live dealer on my website, so you can play blackjack or you can bet on sports. So when the guys win, the girls get tipped. They get tipped out.
I see. And they know, is this like explicit? Because if I don't, how do they know to do that? Or you just tell
Oh,
them?
no, I tell my VIP customers, listen, take care of the girls if you win, because this is part of the service. That's what they do in Vegas, too.
Because are they, I have no idea. I rarely pay women to hang out.
Yeah,
with me. I wouldn't even know how to do that, actually.
You wouldn't believe how many guys that's all they do. You remember, you're paying them to leave, right? At the end of the day, that's all it is. These guys have wives, right?
Yeah.
They have families, so they obviously don't want their wives to know. So these girls, they flirt with you and have drinks with you, and whatever else they do, that's on you guys. But I tell them, make sure you take care of the girls.
Yeah. You said you had a live dealer on the website. So am I watching a real person in a room somewhere?
I have someone in Costa Rica that's dealing the cards.
Oh, wow.
And you're on a camera, and I'm able to say hit or stay. And I was one of the first ones.
I was going to say, you must have been one of the first ones to do that, because I assume now people do that because we have Zoom and everything.
It's everywhere now.
But I've never seen it because I don't gamble. And that must have been, what year was this? 2008?
This is 2009.
So video conferencing stuff, to have a live dealer in another country, I mean, that's such a, again, I don't gamble and I don't advertise gambling stuff on the show, but it's a novel idea, especially at that point. And people are like, okay, I'm at home and I can't get to Vegas, but I'm with all my friends or something. It's I can see the appeal.
Yeah, it was appealing because now you're not going against the computer. Like when people play these
Suspicious.
like, oh, this thing's rigged.
Yeah.
Now you can't tell me it's rigged because you're actually playing with the dealer.
Right, you're watching
with a full deck of cards.
Yes. No, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. And you're treating this like a business. Yes, it's gambling, but in the book it sounds like you're paying people when they win. You're not dicking them around. The game isn't rigged any more than gambling already is for the dealer. It's like it's a real business it's not like a shady good luck collecting from me, pal, kind of situation.
No, it's like people say in the documentary, Owen ran it like a Fortune 500 company. Mm-hmm. You got paid on Monday, and when you lose, I expected to be paid the same time. And I treated it like that, and the more I treated it like that kind of business, the more clients I would get, because people would spread the word like, wow, this guy, he pays you on Mondays, he gives you 10% off your losses, he gives you free play when you lose, he invites you to dinners, and he takes you to, wherever, right? And
so you don't feel like a schmo when you're like an idiot when you lose.
Yeah. I'm not just treating you like some piece of junk.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Who are the clients? Or, what kind of people?
Listen, a lot of, literally, I talk about in the book, one of my clients I took a bet from was Paris Hilton, right? My buddy was dating her for many years. And obviously a lot of professional athletes that like to bet. And, a lot of that LA life back in the 2000s, right? The nightlife scene, and mostly those A-list celebrities that are in the movies, right? Do
you yourself enjoy gambling, or is it just a business?
No, it's a business. I know you can't beat the house. That place, Las Vegas, is built for a reason.
Yeah. I don't have the wiring for it. I've said this on the show before, I think, but I don't feel any elation when I win. I'm just kind of like, oh, that worked out. But when I lose, I feel like, that was stupid.
Yeah.
So I have all the downside feeling, but the dopamine doesn't kick in as hard as it does for somebody who really enjoys it.
Yeah. If I have an edge, right?
Yeah.
Like being a bookmaker, you have an edge.
Okay.
Because you're charging 10% VIG for you to bet $110 to win 100. That means I have a 10% edge. Anytime I have an edge, I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the house. But as far as gambling, I tell people, like, I'm already the house. What do I need to gamble for? I'm already taking action.
Yeah. I think when I do episodes on organized crime or whatever, and somebody's got like a rigged game, like they pay a soccer player to take a dive or something, that sounds interesting to me. Like, look, it's illegal, so I won't do it, but if you guaranteed to win, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's an edge.
That's kind of. I'm interested in that.
I'll bet on that.
In theory, right? I don't want to engage in illegal activity because I don't need to. But like that's interesting to me. But just actually betting on something where the outcome is uncertain, far less fun for me. I don't have the appetite for risk. What if someone doesn't pay though? I mean, surely there were people who were like, "Oh, I lost $100,000." Well, you, Owen. I'm not giving you that.
That's where I excelled, right? Everyone's like, man, how does Owen collect? Well, I'm not scared to, start small, right? If a guy stiffs me and I just paid him like a week before, let's say I paid a guy $1,000 a week before, and then the next week he loses $500 but doesn't want to pay me, that's like stealing to me.
Yeah.
Because I just paid you. So what's your excuse? And that's when I turn to my collection department. And usually it's, 6'6" Samoans from the Booyah tribe, a blood gang in Compton or Carson, and with tattoos on their face. And, that's my last resort. First, we'll start small. We'll call them and let you know, like, hey, we know where your wife works, and we know your kids go to school here. Just little scare tactics. Never, obviously, violence is not allowed in our business because that's going to put you in prison for a long time.
Right.
So always little scare tactics. And if that doesn't work, then we send flowers to the wife's work and saying, hey, let your husband know we're trying to collect the money he owes.
Why flowers? Just because it shows you know where she is and
shows the message gets delivered. And if that doesn't work, then we will do like a pizza delivery where the pizza man will come to the house now and we'll say, hey, this is from so-and-so. It's time to pay your debt.
Except the pizza guy's a Samoan guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, the pizza's
Samoa's
cold.
the last outcome. Yeah. And then that's where it costs money because now this guy's actually putting his life at danger because the cops can get called. He's never asked to do anything as far as hurt, touch. He's just intimidation.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are still taking a risk though because if I'm a degenerate gambler and armed or something and some big guy comes to my house, I don't know that he's not going to hurt me or my family, so I might shoot him.
Shoot him, yeah. Yeah, they're definitely taking the most risk, but they get paid the most.
Oh, they do? What do they take?
50%.
50%.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're losing money.
At this point, it's principal now.
Right.
Yeah.
And also setting an example.
And you're making a name for yourself.
Right.
And that's why I was so big in the industry. I had like a 90% collection ratio.
Yeah.
And people are like, dude, Owen was the best in the business. It was just for me, it was a mind fuck. Like I was going to figure out a way to scare you enough where you're going to pay me.
Yeah. I would imagine you call someone's mom or whatever.
A private investigator would get me the mom and the dad's phone number always.
Yeah, that's got to have a high success rate.
That's the go-to.
Like, not only are we disappointed in you, but this dude showed up to your mother's place of employment or your mother's knitting club. Had an interesting guest this evening. Do you want to explain why you're gambling and then not paying your debt, pal? There was a guy in law school, and he had done something where he was sharing an apartment. For some reason, he owed another guy money. But it was like a legitimate thing, and he just wouldn't pay him. And we were all friends, so we were like, what the hell? You're not going to pay him? And we couldn't really figure out why. So what my friend did was he called his mother or whatever knew some guy who was like Mike from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And this guy called and was the kid's mom and was like, do you know your son didn't pay rent? Are you giving him rent money? And she's like, who is this? And he's like, don't hang up. Your son owes $500 or $5,000 or whatever dollars to another kid. You should ask him about it. And so the money, I mean, this kid like ran to my friend to give him the cash.
Pay him, yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah. Imagine your mom calls.
It's humiliating, right?
It is. And it scared her because I don't think the guy was like, I'm going to beat your ass or I'm going to beat up your kid. I think he was just like, you should talk to your son about the virtues of paying money that you owe. And most parents don't even need to know what that's for. They're just like, how are you in this much trouble where this guy's calling me and knows who I am?
Disappointment.
Yeah. Disappointment, fear. It's a potent combination, man. It's a potent cocktail. So you hired a private investigator to find these guys. Wow.
On my payroll.
Wow. What was that guy like? I can only imagine a guy who's a PI for gambling operations.
He actually worked for the DEA and FBI, and he was retired. And
did he have any thoughts about what you were using his services for?
I told him.
Surely.
I said, I'm a bookmaker. I'm a legal bookie, and sometimes people don't want to pay.
So you did have a license?
No, illegal.
Oh,
sorry.
illegal.
Okay. I'm sorry. I said, listen, I do this illegally. I'm not legit. Mm-hmm. This is illegal business, and sometimes guys want to stiff. He's like, well, how are they stiffing you? I said, because in my business, we give people lines of credit. We don't get money up front.
I see. Okay.
And so that now he understands. He goes, okay, I can help you out. And
did he want to make sure that you weren't using his services to go kill someone?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking if I'm a PI and I'm a retired federal agent, I'm not going to prison because you found someone and then turned him into a paraplegic with my help. You know, because he's on the hook for that. That's
he was actually part of the indictment. He ended up doing 2 years.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, you'll see that in the movie.
Oh yikes! Yikes! You had another interesting business idea, which was you were working with some other guys, right? And you kind of ended up licensing their business or their software. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so now I'm providing obviously the software for bookies. Or like I'm a bookie, right? And now I'm having this live dealer. So now people are able to gamble and play blackjack live. And I'm like, okay, I have my company called Beto Dog. Why don't I use my same software and my same gambling platform and just offer it to anybody that wants to be a bookie and just pay me for the software service. So it's not costing me any more overhead. I'm just giving them a domain. So betjordan.com, I'm giving you an 800 number. You're using my software, and I'm charging you rent based off your customer list.
Right.
So if you have 100 customers, I'm saying, okay, it's $25 a week times 100. That's $2,500 a week that you pay me. So now all of a sudden I'm making $10,000 a month from you, and it's not costing me any overhead. I've already got people answering the phones. I've already got my servers in Costa Rica.
Yeah, you've got your fixed costs. Yeah, wow. Oh, that's great. Why Costa Rica? Is it legal there?
It's legal there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about this this money pickup, because you got the story of your first money pickup. First of all, why were you picking up this money in the first place?
So the business started to go international.
Okay.
And I told one of my sub bookies, which is a guy that works underneath me, I said, hey, I'm going international. I want to go Mexico, Canada. If you have customers or family there, let me know. And so I started taking bets from someone in Mexico through one of my sub bookies. And the guy kept losing, like duffel bags every Monday dropped off. Couple $100,000 here. I'm like, dude, this guy's like a whale. Keep him happy, whatever he needs. And he's like, yeah, he keeps losing, and the guy's bringing me $200,000 every week. Like, I'm like, dude, this guy's awesome.
In a duffel bag.
Duffel bag. My agent. First red flag. My agent's happy though because he's making 50%. I'm making 50%. So we're all like, dude, this is a perfect customer. Yeah. We're not asking questions, right? And it's not my business because he represents his customers. So finally, the guy
also it's in another country. Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do? Hey, PI, go down to Mexico and figure out who this guy is. Like, what?
Yeah, it's not happening. And then finally, I see that on Sunday night the NFL football game's going, and I'm like, dude, this guy's finally going to win. And as a bookie, you always want your customer to win because if they lose, they're never going to keep playing. They're going to there's no hope.
They're going to eventually learn their lesson.
Yeah, you can't beat the house. So I'm like, yes, this is what I wanted. I called my sub bookie and I said, hey, your customer's about to hit. I said, do me a favor, come over here tonight and I'm going to give you his payment. I want you to pay him exactly when he wakes up on Monday morning. I want him to show that we do good business. And he comes over and I give him a duffel bag. I think it was like $220,000 he hit for. And I said, 8 a.m. sharp, wherever this guy lives, I want you at his front door. And I'm telling this bookie, I said, you've made over almost $500,000 off this guy. Let's take this bag and make him show that we do the same. And he paid him. And Jordan, when he paid him on that Monday, I'll never forget this. He comes back like 4 hours later and he goes, hey, my uncle really liked the way you did business. I said, what do you mean, your uncle? He goes, yeah, that's who's gambling. I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad he liked that we paid him. Like, what else? He's like, well, he wanted me to give you this encrypted phone. And I look at this phone and it's a BlackBerry. And he's like, there's 3 passwords to get in. There's no GPS service in it. Okay. There's no camera and there's no microphone. I'm like,
so it's like text only.
Text only. I'm like, okay. So I go and open up this phone with like 3 passwords. It's literally a BlackBerry stripped of everything. And it says, I like the way you do business. Just that. And I was like, okay, I appreciate it. Anything you need, let me know. You're our VIP customer and making him feel good.
So he wants direct contact with you, not via his nephew or
his nephew. He goes, I know you're a bookie and you do good business. Would you be willing to help me out? And I'm like how? Like what? Like what's this guy getting at? He's like, sometimes I need money dropped off in the U.S. and I can't use my cash because I'm in Mexico. Would you be willing to do that for me? Because as a bookie, you have money all over the United States.
Yeah. Okay.
So for me, it's easy because I have people holding money everywhere in pretty much every state that work for me. So I'm like, okay, what are you thinking? He's like, I need $100,000 dropped off in San Diego. I'm like, no problem. So I have one of my sub bookies drop off $100,000. He goes, okay, every time you drop off money for me, I'm going to give you 10% on the money. I'm like, perfect.
Wow.
Like this is easy.
So
like this is money. Cash. This is money in Hunting 101. Like,
yeah, you've already got cash in the place, and you're getting 10% immediate pay on this
via wire, right? And for me, I need wires because I need to pay my office in Costa Rica.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, send it to Costa Rica Bank, and now all of a sudden these guys are asking me for just moving money for them. Like this is the easiest 10% I've ever made, like per day.
Right. Oh my God.
And then finally he goes, can you pick up money? I'm like, yeah, I can pick up. What do you need? He goes, I got $1 million in Brownsville, Texas. And I'm like, okay, $1 million. I'm doing the math. Okay, 10% is $100,000 in one day. I'm like, okay, that's a no-brainer. I'm the son of a construction worker.
But surely you're also like, why is there so much cash? Now
But remember, I'm that ambitious kid.
How old are you at this point?
I'm 25 at this point.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Irresistible.
Yeah, you can't turn down $100,000 at that age.
No.
In one day. So I'm coordinating, a private plane, security, and figuring out how to make this happen.
Yeah.
Brownsville, Texas. He's like, it's our rival. We can't go there. Once he said rival, I was like, okay, this guy's obviously involved in some organized crime.
Oh, he said rival.
Yeah.
He doesn't mean football rival.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So I put it together. So he was obviously from the cartel. And then that's when I picked up that $1 million, and I literally dropped it off within 6 hours to where he had it delivered in Torrance Airport. And he's like, wow, you're one of the best workers I've ever seen. You're so prompt. And he goes, I've never seen anyone work so professionally.
You didn't try to run away with his money or any crap.
I didn't know this guy. I could have easily took it if I was a thief, right?
Sure.
So then after that, he's like, okay, like a week goes by. He goes, how would you like to make $1 million a day? Doing the same thing you're doing now, but in Australia. I was like, well, $1 million a day? I would love to make $1 million a day.
Sounds like a good, fun year.
Yeah. Where do I sign up? And then he broke it down. He says, I have product in Australia. And that's when I knew. I said, product? Like, what is it? He says, I have cocaine in Australia, and I need someone to move it and take the money and bring it back.
Wow.
And I'm like, sign me up. I'm gonna figure out a way, right?
The problem is Australia is notoriously difficult to get things into. I don't know about out of, but into for sure.
For sure. And that's what happened, right? He's like, it's already there. And I'm like, okay, well, now I got to find someone. Yeah, the hard part's done. So now I got to figure out, I'm not an international drug kingpin yet, right? So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So I put together that Rolodex, and I just start going through it and like, okay, who can do this? Okay, oh yeah, I remember I have a guy that played baseball at USC, and his brother was a weed dealer. Maybe I'll go ask him. And that's what I did. I remember I asked my buddy at USC, and he introduced me to his brother, who's a weed dealer. And his brother's like, oh, I got a guy that's an Italian guy. And this Italian guy, he's an international dude. He knows everyone. I'm like, I need to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I literally had to fly to Naples to meet this guy. In
Italy.
Yeah, Naples, Italy. And I meet this guy, and he's like, there's no way you have product in Australia. He says, that's the #1 hardest place in the world to get product into. I'm like, dude, I have it. He's like, don't waste my time. And I said, I'm telling you, I have it there. He goes, well, you do this. He says, you get over there, and when you see it with your own eyes, you message me.
I was going to say the same thing. Somebody's got to lay eyes on this.
Yeah. He goes, I don't believe it. And I don't blame him. I did so much research. I see why it's so hard. You're the farthest point in the middle of the ocean, right?
Yeah. And also their customs is crazy for environmental reasons too. Like,
very.
I've flown there a couple times, and I remember they were like searching everything with the dog, and I was like, you can open my luggage. They're like, we do this with everyone. And I was like, what are you looking for? She's like, literally apples, bananas, kiwis, whatever it is, and maybe some drugs. And I was like, okay, fine. And they went through everything. And I used to know another guy who smuggled steroids as well. And I was like, how does it work? And he explained how they mail it. And I said, wow, so you can just order this anywhere in the world? He goes, I won't send anything to Australia because it gets seized like 9 times out of 10.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
So they open every package of mail, everything. They don't around in Australia. And this is like 10 or 15 years ago. Now they probably have way better tech. They don't have to open a selection of packages. They probably can scan everything.
For sure.
So
they got cameras everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. And so getting a bunch of cocaine to Australia, you got to have like your own boat and illegally bring it in. I don't know. I mean, how do you think he got it there?
I didn't ask questions. I just literally like it's not my business, right? I was
like, a customs agent that's
for sure. There's a crooked customs agent, no doubt, right? So I literally fly to Australia, and I'm like, this El Jefe is like, okay, you ready to work? I'm like, yeah. What do you mean? He goes, I'm having product dropped off next week. I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm scrambling. So I'm telling this Italian guy, I'm like, hey, it's here. Like, I've seen it. Come hurry. Like, I didn't see it, but I'm just taking this guy's word for it. At this point, I don't want to mess around.
You also don't really. Why would he lie to you?
Yeah, he's paid me all this money already. So I'm like, hey, it's here. Get over here. So he flies over, and that's where it started. Literally, the first 10 kilos sample run. Boom, $1 million brought back to me.
Because the street price in Australia has got to be
wholesale is $100,000 a kilo. He was buying it for $100,000. This Italian, he's selling it to his people for $150,000 for 1 kilo.
Wow!
Just so people don't know, the price in the U.S. right now is probably like $15,000.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! So this is a 10x markup retail because it's hard to get stuff into Australia. And that's U.S. pricing, and it's probably coming from Mexico where it's $500 to produce that kilo or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy. Or less.
Less.
Wow. So this dude, his name is Uncle Louie, right?
Yeah, we call him Uncle Louie.
Yeah, this is somehow very typical. So what was the first sort of deal you did? You said it was $1 million just right there?
Yeah, it was just $1 million right off the rip.
Jeez.
And then the next day was $2 million. The next day, another $2 million.
So he's bringing that much in every day. So it really was $1 million bucks.
Yeah,
a day.
I was really mixed.
Holy smokes! What was a better high then, doing cocaine or doing a deal like this for cocaine?
I think doing a deal like this.
Right?
Yeah, I'd rather be a millionaire than a drug addict.
Yeah. Okay. when you put it that way, yeah, that's true. Man, I am having some kind of reaction right now because I could very well see myself getting into this type of business in my 20s and 30s and being like, I'm just going to quit after a short period of time, but I'm going to have $50 million. Like, I'm not getting caught. There's no heat on me. I'm working with the best guys in the business. No one who would rat me out. I'm not hurting anyone. Like, I'm already rationalizing it, and I'm 45 and know better, right? And you're sitting here you spent time in prison, spoiler alert, but it sounds so easy.
Yeah.
It sounds like you just, you right place, right time, great market. Like, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
Famous last words, right?
And I think that's where things went wrong, right?
Yeah.
You're now sitting on close to $10 million of the cartel's money.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, now how do I get it out, right? You're thinking El Jefe is going to come and have somebody pick it up, right? And he's like, no, that's why I hired you.
That's your job.
That's why you're making $1 million a day. And that's where it got this story took a turn, right? Different methods to get it out, and one of my best methods in my mind was to use someone to basically launder it through the casinos. So basically, I'm going to give them. Let's talk about the first run. I give them a suitcase full of $1.5 million.
How much does that weigh?
It's probably like 30. Let's see, about 50 pounds.
Okay, that's not
of
that
cash.
bad. So you could fit that in like a Toomey roller.
It's in a Toomey. It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
That's what he requested.
Well, I will say they do hold up really well. I abuse mine, and it looks awesome. It's still in like really good shape. So I can see, you put 50 pounds of cash in there, although there's not a lot of room for underwear when you fit 50 pounds of cash into a Toomey roller. So the guy who requested that, I guess he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he definitely, he shook my hand. He says, for 25%, I'll do it.
Wow, that's heavy.
It's heavy, but hey,
you got to get it done.
I got to get it out of there.
Yeah.
And I agreed. He flew over and he did it. He went to the casino. Literally, he put his cash up. They already knew he was a high roller because Vegas called him. They gave him chips, and he just started playing little hands, just like 20 grand here, 20 grand here, playing. And in about after 2 hours, he's like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. Cash me out. Mm-hmm. So he already knows that he's got close to $1.5 million. So they cash him out. And he takes those chips and he goes to the cage and he says, hey, I'm not feeling it today. Can you cash me out? So they give him a check, and the check is made out to the sister company, and their big sister company in Vegas is Venetian. So,
I see.
So now he has a check for the Venetian, and he's able to fly back to Vegas where he's a high roller, and he goes and he gives him the check for $1.5 million bucks. And they can give him chips, cash, whatever he wants. And he just laundered $1.5 million in 48 hours.
How is this not an obvious way that people launder money that is under high levels of scrutiny?
At this time, it wasn't even looked at because he's a high roller.
Unbelievable.
But now, obviously, it's gotten stricter, and there's busts happen all the time now.
Sure.
Like the resort world just got busted with guys doing this system.
Yeah, because otherwise, everyone is doing this.
Everyone was doing it for a long time.
Jeez.
But the casinos don't care.
They don't care, but like at some point the feds are going, how did you launder $150 million? Oh, look, it all went through the Bellagio? Well, maybe we should do something about that with a simple regulation that says, look, you can waste $10 million gambling. That's legal. We just need to know that it's actually your $10 million.
Yeah.
Show us any document at all that shows.
Yep. KYC, know your customer.
Know your customer, yeah. It's like with crypto. Back in the day, you could just be like, I want $100,000 in Bitcoin. My name is, John1234 at AOL.com. And they're like, fine. All right. No problem. Go drop it off in this ATM or this, random gold place.
Yeah.
And here's your Bitcoin. Now it's like, no. Scan your ID if you're going to withdraw this from our system. So, KYC. So, I mean, I don't know. I've done episodes on Chinese money laundering and laundromats and stuff. So people are trying to figure this out constantly because it's the way that you launder drug money, basically.
Yeah. I mean, every day you're thinking of something new.
So you're laundering money successfully.
For sure.
And then what happens?
He does another round, $2.5 million the next, and like 3 weeks later, $2.5 million comes, same suitcase, same Toomey luggage. This time I get a call in 3 hours. I was like, wow, that was fast. And he says, I lost all your money. I said, wait a minute. You didn't have money to lose. You had a 25% window that you were making.
Yeah.
Everything else was mine.
Right.
What are you talking about? I said, you need to come meet me. And that's when I found out he lost the cartel's money.
So when he lost it, did he steal it, or was he just like, I'm going to gamble?
Obviously, we were thinking he stole it.
Yeah.
Like he made a deal with the pit boss. And, after investigations on my side and a couple people I knew at the casino, that we found out he really did lose it. Yeah.
He just gambled it away.
Gambled it away.
So he had a gambling problem, obviously.
He was an addict for sure.
Jeez. I guess you need somebody like me who can just like gamble and be like, this sucks, I want my money back.
Yeah, you got to treat it like a business.
Yeah. Because again, gambling for me is generally so boring. I'd be like, I'm not feeling it. That's a believable thing that I could say that people would buy, because they're going to see me completely emotionless, waste $20,000 and be like, I just want to go to Cirque du Soleil and a buffet. Wow, man. Tell me, though, about you were shipping cash back in Uggs? This is one of your sort of like more amateurish attempts, I suppose, at money laundering?
Before I obviously was working with this gambler, I took it under my own hands and I started to buy gold bullion with cash. I said, okay, I'm going to buy bullion because that's untraceable. So I'd go to all these bullion stores in Australia and I'd take $10,000 every store I went to and I'd buy 1 ounce round coins, which is at the time was $1,600 a coin.
Okay.
So I'd take those coins and I'd take 4 of them, 4 1 ounce rounds. And what I would do is I'd buy all the Ugg boots I could. And I'd take the soles out of the Ugg boots and I'd put 4 gold coins inside. So basically you're getting $1,600. That's like what, $7,000 per close to $7,000 per boot.
Per boot.
So 14,000. Let's just call it 15,000. Every Ugg boot I would send home.
But dude, for $1 million a day, that's a lot of Uggs, man.
You can't do it.
No.
I would literally ship out like 20 Ugg boots a day, and I was like, this is taking way too long.
At some point, the suspicion of why you're buying that many Uggs is more than
weird.
The suspicion of like,
but there's Ugg boot stores on every corner.
But like, you're going to the UPS store or whatever.
That's where it looked weird.
And it's like, I want to mail 50. Like they're like, don't you have if this is your business? How are you doing this like at a retail level? Like you almost need to buy a footwear company to export that amount of shoes. Just to put the coin, like it's not going to work.
It just takes too long.
Yeah,
right? It was a cool idea. Like the girlfriends and the wives and everyone was excied for the first
to have every
color. Right?
Yeah.
But that gets old. They're like, hey, no more Uggs.
Stop sending me these. Also, why do you keep ripping them apart when you come home?
Yeah. I tell them, don't open them. I said I want to open that gift with you, and I would open them and I'd take literally the coins out before they see them.
Oh god! Oh man, that's so stressful.
So stressful.
I'll be right back. I need to go to the bathroom with all the packages I sent you.
Yeah.
Give me 20 minutes. This is like it's like silly when you picture how it's going to. But it's also surely people thought you were either mentally ill or up to something.
Definitely, they definitely thought I was probably both.
Yeah, yeah. So this moron loses all your money. How much did he lose again?
2.5. But the same day, I had 700,000 picked off from law enforcement because he called the police and said, I think this guy's after me and I think he has a gun. And my personal trainer was literally wheeling a suitcase with 700,000 of mine, and the law enforcement stopped him randomly because all the cameras, and then they got this call from this guy. And they said, we've got to report that you have a gun. We need to open your luggage. And it wasn't a gun, it was 700,000. So in one day I lost 3.2 million of the cartel's money.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So what's going through your head at this point? Like, I'm going to get killed?
I'm dead, yeah. I'm like, this is over. I'm done. Like, do I just stay in Australia or do I go face the music? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go face the music.
Well, yeah. Anybody who can get kilos of cocaine to Australia can figure out a way to kill you in Australia.
Yeah, it's
right?
a cartel.
Yeah.
So I just took it. I took it on the chin. I went over, literally had to fly into Mexico. Actually, I walked into Mexico. I crossed the border, walked over, and I literally met this cartel boss with 10 of his sicarios. A sicario is like the guys that carry the guns. Mm-hmm. You know, they're in these like bulletproof jackets. Their cars are bulletproof. And I literally have a sit down with this cartel boss in this private restaurant in a town called Porto Nuevo. I'll never forget it. And he knew about the whole story already. There's already articles coming out in Australia, so he knew. And I told him the truth, obviously. He knew I was telling the truth, and I showed up. So he's like, you know what? You don't owe me $3.2 million. You owe me $4 million, and now you work for the cartel.
Oh, man.
but
at least I'm not dead.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, hallelujah.
Oh, man. So what's the plan then? Because you're obviously, if the law enforcement guys just took $700,000 from you, the worst thing you can do is be put in charge of a bunch more money in Toomey rollers and then just try to pretend like you're...
He knew that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew. He goes, you're hot. He goes,
Yeah.
this guy's obviously cooperating. He says, you're going to take 2 years off and you're going to run your bookie business. He goes, you're good at that. Nothing with cocaine, nothing with money laundering. Handle the bookie business like it's your business.
For 2 years.
For 2 years. He says, once that's 2 years is up, things will be settled down by then and you're going to work for me. And I said, no problem. And I was just ecstatic. I was alive.
Yeah, man. So you're laying low, doing your gambling business and whatnot. And then...
So he says, you know what? You're not using my routes. You're not going to use my routes because you're hot. You are going to still sell my cocaine, but you can't go over there because you're not allowed in Australia right now because I was a wanted man. Yeah. He says, but I'm going to give you the product in the U.S. and you have to figure out a way to get it into Australia.
Jeez.
And that's what I was like, oh, man, what am I going to do?
That's a tall order. Like, hey, this is one of the hardest things to do in our business. Figure it out.
Probably the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt. Like, on the drug trade. Yeah. For sure.
Wow. So what was the big idea then?
So now I had to find a buyer that I already knew someone in Australia. And obviously I couldn't go to Australia and I couldn't talk about this on the phone. So we met at a private island in Fiji. This guy from Australia flew in. I flew into Fiji. And we were literally just going over a game plan. I'm like, how are we going to figure this thing out? I said, I have to get this product into you, and I don't know what to do. And
how do you get to Fiji without going through Australia?
You can. There's a direct flight there.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Actually, I take that back. You leave from Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
So you go to
Hawaii.
That
makes sense. Yeah.
So I get there, and we're literally drinking wine, and we're drinking this white wine on the island, and I'm like, dude, that's it, wine. He's like, what are you thinking? I said, I'm going to break down the cocaine and I'm going to put it in wine bottles. I said, he's like, okay, well, how are you going to do that? I said, we're going to get that 150 proof Everclear alcohol. It's like straight alcohol. Mm-hmm. And we'll break it down. The cocaine will turn into liquid. And then once we put it in the bottles, we'll wipe down the bottles, we'll cork it, we'll put it back in the box. I'll ship it like their wine coming from Napa Valley, because Napa Valley's famous in the U.S., in California where I'm from. And I said, it's
world famous.
World famous, right? And I go, do you have a chemist that can bring it back and basically take out all the liquid and turn it back to the powder? He goes, yeah, I got a guy.
That works?
It works, yeah.
So you just evaporate the alcohol?
Evaporate the alcohol.
End up with boozy cocaine?
It's not even boozy. It's just literally, it's all gone. Just literally clear alcohol. And the alcohol is basically taken out, evaporated.
Surely this is now common that they're doing this.
I mean, listen, they probably don't do it anymore just due to the fact that the government knows. Like I tell people, like, I don't think people knew, but the guy that was doing this with me got in trouble, and he basically told them the whole operation. Yeah. So the government found out about it. So that's why I talk freely on it, because obviously I wouldn't want to give up anybody's secrets because I'd get in trouble for that. But now I speak openly because this guy's already given it to the DEA and the FBI, and I'm like, okay, well, now I can talk about it.
But man, if you just did like one bottle here and there, you could really, I mean, that's the problem though. Nobody does that, right? Yeah. They go, now I need a whole case. All right, I'll do a case, but not a whole pallet. Well, fine, I'll do a whole pallet, but I'm not going to. And then it becomes renting, you're buying your own cargo ship to ship over 500 kilos of blow because you're selling it all every day. Yeah. Oh my God. So you just dump out all the wine, huh? And then put it, man, somebody's crying over that. I guess, man, you're doing this manually, right? You're like ripping out the corks, dumping it.
Yeah.
So you're dumping like hundreds of bottles of wine.
Like Breaking Bad, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My construction worker that was helping me, he was like, dude, I'm going to drink some of that wine. I said, well, listen, you better drink it fast.
Yeah, take it in a jug and take it home, but don't drink it up a jug.
He used to put it in one of those big water jugs that you put on. Like, those big 5-gallon ones.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, where are you getting this wine? It comes in an ugly-ass jug, but it's pretty good. Yeah. Like, no, this is actually pretty good wine.
This is Napa Valley.
Some guy making mediocre-ass white wine in Napa is like That's why I was sold out all the time. I didn't think anybody would like this.
Yeah, the cheapest white wine I found.
Yeah. You were floating a couple wineries entirely from this business, and the guy's patting himself on the back for making this amazing product. You also use chocolates, yeah? That was kind of unique. Tell me about that.
Well, the wine guy started to charge me too much to take it back and to put it powder cocaine. He wanted to charge me an arm and a leg. I said, you know what? You're going to be out of a job if you want to charge me that.
Yeah.
And I put my foot down. I said, I'm not paying that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to come out with a new route. And I figured it out. I said, chocolate. That's going to be my way. And I went to my Rolodex, and I'm like, okay. I had a fraternity brother at USC. His parents were in the import-export business of chocolate from the UK, and they would ship chocolate and sweets, all kinds of candies from the UK into the US, and they had a warehouse in Compton where they would distribute the European chocolate throughout the United States. It was a big business.
Yeah, that sounds like a good business.
It was a good business.
That's why the kid had a black card.
Yeah, exactly. And I told the kid, I said, I'll give you $50,000 a month if you give me your expired chocolate. And I said, I'll give it to you in cash. And how are you going to say no to that, right? It's not like it's costing
Meanwhile,
anything.
it's going in a dumpster in the back of the warehouse.
Exactly.
And all he has to do is be like, hey, Dad, my frat bros will eat it.
Yeah, they want it.
Right. Like, oh, okay, sure. All right, I'll help you load the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And so I remember he's like, dude, I want to be there if I'm making $50,000 a month. Can I help you? I'm like, dude, I don't want you to be there. Like, nah, you shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
I said, I need you to leave at 6 p.m. when all your employees leave, to be honest, and let me do my thing.
Right.
And he insisted. I'm like, dude, okay, I'm telling you, you're going to be upset. And I knew he did coke, so I was like, here's a bag. And he started doing it. I said, that's what I'm bringing into this chocolate. He's like, I want to help. So we're literally like
Cocaine
stuffing.
chocolate.
Yeah, we're stuffing these kilos inside. We're taking all the bars out. We're putting the cocaine in the bottom. We're putting the bars on top, and we're saran wrapping this pallet. And there's 50 kilos of coke in there, and we're literally like hiding it so well. Like if customs goes through it, they're going to literally have to go through every piece of chocolate to find all these different areas.
This sounds like a huge pain in the ass to do that.
It is. It is a pain in the ass.
But I guess if you're making $1 million, you're just like, well.
We got to pay back the cartel.
Oh, yeah. Right. You're also gonna die
I don't care right now.
Right. You're also going to get brutally murdered and probably tortured beforehand if you don't do it. That's motivating.
Yeah.
That's true. I forgot about that part. Wow.
Okay. So it started working. They like the guys in Australia were blown away.
Man, you used a lot of interesting principles to get El Jefe to trust you, right? I mean, not even novel or unique, but just stuff most people don't do, like answer his calls on the first ring any day, make sure that he's happy with the service you provided when he was doing the gambling thing. I mean, like a lot of people, they feel like they act like business is some kind of, or client service is like some kind of big mystery, and you really have to do all this amazing news. It's like, no, you just have to
be a human being, right?
Responsible, responsive, and that's it. Like it's not that hard. It's just hard to do consistently, and that's why most businesses end up dropping the ball.
Consistency is key.
So who is this boss? Obviously, he's a cartel boss, but like he's ruthless, but also he's not dumb.
He's a businessman.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, obviously I haven't given up names. So I'm not going to say who he is, but let's put it this way: he's a businessman and he makes a lot of money.
So he's not. He's still operating. He's not in prison.
He's definitely not in prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And now you're doing drugs and drinking a lot during this time to manage the stress. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm literally so nervous that. I know the FBI is after me because we're watching the PIs running license plates and saying it's coming back to authorities, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to get the cartel paid back. Like, I don't care about the FBI.
Wow, so they're watching you and you're smuggling cocaine to pay back the cartel who's going to kill you if you don't.
Exactly.
And did you tell El Jefe, like, hey, the FBI is watching me?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
I told him, I said, dude, I'm running license plates on these cars around my houses, and he's like, you got to pay me back. TikTok, I remember he texted me, TikTok.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. Like, okay.
All right.
And I just literally, I've every time I would see them, I was just like, okay, I got to keep going. I got to hurry up because I knew it was crashing down eventually. Mm-hmm. You just feel it.
That's a stressful way to live.
Yeah, so that's why I was doing a lot of drugs and alcohol, right? I just wanted to be numb.
Man, so how's that affecting? I mean, it's a stupid question, but how's that affecting you at this time? Because your stress level's through the roof and you're self-medicating. Are you thinking clearly at all?
I was just a machine. Like literally would golf at 6 a.m. Still golfing, still literally still doing blow, still working out. I just was literally like a robot. and it just, nothing would faze me. I was taking so much blow and so many Xanax and alcohol and GHB, and I'm like, ugh, dude, nothing's putting me out. Like, you know, it's sad to say, but like, I just wanted to be put out. Like, I was so stressed.
This is the part where people need to pay more attention, because the good times sounded really awesome, but this part does not sound like it was worth it at all.
No way.
And even then, you're lucky that you weren't dead.
No, I should have been dead. I tell people, like, I should have definitely overdosed on drugs.
Yeah. Or been murdered by the cartel.
Yeah, that was next. Yeah. It was one of those two. And then luckily, you know, the spoiler alert, I did go to prison.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Tell me about this Cipriani guy. Like, he keeps trying to get you in trouble.
Yeah, you know, he's making phone calls. And
who is this guy first? Because I don't think we introduced him.
So Robert Cipriani is the guy that was the Robin Hood, the guy that laundered the money.
Oh, he's the guy who
lost
gambler.
Your money. Yeah, he's lost my money.
Gotcha.
So he keeps trying, and I already know at this point he's working for the feds, because we see that there's cooperation going into this investigation, because there's like articles saying like, you know, this money was played in the casino, and this guy. Oh, so there's little checkpoints that like you're looking at. Okay, this guy's definitely working with them. Mm-hmm. And then he'd make these phone calls, and he'd call me on my cell phone like, "Hey, buddy, I got to pay you back your $2.5 million that I laundered."
Yeah, I'm so concerned.
Like, why are you calling me, and why are you saying that I laundered on the phone? Like, no one speaks like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude,
I need your illegal. I need to do more of this illegal thing with you.
Yeah, I was like,
that we don't want the authorities to ever find out about.
And he's like, can we meet up? And I'm like, dude, I'm not meeting up with this guy. Like, I feel something's wrong.
Yeah.
And then that's when we started to put pressure on him. And like, dude, you got to pay us back.
And so you did want him to.
We tried, yeah. I mean, of course, like any dollar I could make would go towards my debt. That's
a good point. So if he gives you $1 million and tells you this is all I can do, you're that much closer to not dying.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's literally like trying to keep me happy, and like he'll put like $2,000 in my bank account. I'm like, dude, keep doing that like every day. Yeah, every day do that. Like, make me feel it.
Jeez. So how are you putting pressure on this guy? I'm surprised El Jefe wasn't like, why don't I just send some guys to him and cut off a couple of his toes and maybe he'll pay you back?
Because I was the one that was responsible. Remember, I went into business with El Jefe. Yeah. It was my job to figure it out.
It just still seems like you could be like, hey, if you have people that are willing to kill, can I borrow one of those guys for like an hour? I don't need to kill anyone. I just need to make sure that this guy really knows that I can. Yeah. That would have maybe helped.
He did put a fear of God.
He did?
Yeah. He sent videos of guys getting their heads chopped off and said, hey, we know where you live. This is going to happen to you. Like stuff that scared the living shit out of him. Yeah. And, you know, we used a bunch of scare tactics that basically caused him to go to the FBI and said, look at what they're doing.
I see. So that actually
hurt us.
Blew up in your face a little bit. Okay. Well, the show, once again, I obviously would not have operated any better in this business than you, because that seems like, oh, yeah, just have these guys threaten him. Oh, oops, he went to the FBI. Yeah. Or went even harder towards the FBI. So how does it all end up unraveling? Like, what? Tell me about them finally catching up to you.
You know, just eventually them infiltrating my network in Australia. My contacts in Australia were realizing that the money was so hard to get back from Australia to the U.S. that it was every time I would have to wait months and months to send a new product, because we had to wait till our money got back. Otherwise, we weren't going to send new product. Right. So the FBI infiltrated them and went on this yacht in Australia. My contacts were on the yacht drinking, and unbeknownst to them, the FBI are drinking next to them. Jeez. And they're shooting the shit, and they're talking, and the FBI says, oh, yeah, we're in the money laundering business. This is what we do. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know they were FBI agents, obviously. Of course. And he's like, dude, perfect timing. Like,
what a coincidence.
What do you charge? Yeah. You know, and that's where the red flag should have stood up. He charged half of what we were paying, like 12 points. Oh, right. And I'm like, dude, are you sure these guys are legit? And I'm telling them on these encrypted phones, they're like, dude, these guys are great. Let's just do a test run. They seem legit. I'm like, okay, let's.
They seem legit because I hung out with them for 30 minutes, and they definitely wouldn't lie or anything.
Yeah. So they literally send these guys back to San Diego, where they set up a round of golf, and they're like, my buddy in Australia just gives them $10,000 and sees if they bring it to me, and sure enough, they bring it to me minus their fee. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, they paid me the cash, but that wasn't very much. Like, and these guys are like, well, let's do the next one, $250,000, right? Mm-hmm. And so we do it to $250,000, and then the next one's $1 million.
Right, and the DA's like, let them keep ramping it up. They're going to keep doing it.
Keep doing it. And this whole time now we're being wiretapped.
Right.
And next thing you know, I'm golfing with him, weekly, and finally we schedule another $500,000 drop, and we're supposed to discuss our next way of payment, and we set up a tee time in San Diego where I'm supposed to golf with him.
Yeah.
Like I've already been golfing with him.
Sure.
I've already been gambling on the golf course, drinking cocktails with him like they're the bros. And that's when that September 9th, 2015, I show up to the country club, and my caddy's literally taking my clubs out of my trunk of my Porsche Panamera.
Nice.
And as soon as I turn around, there's 15 FBI agents coming out of the bushes, helicopter in the sky, and in New South.
Because they thought you might run.
Yeah, like I'm going anywhere.
Like a bag of clothes is running down the fairway.
They put handcuffs on me, and I'll tell you what, Jordan, that was the best day of my life.
Tell me about that.
It was just the relief knowing that I'm done. I'm out of this business. I didn't end up dead. I paid the cartel back.
Oh, you managed to pay it back?
I paid them back every penny.
Wow. And
I literally, I was like, this is the biggest blessing. Like, I'm going to prison. Trust me, this is the worst thing ever, people are thinking. But I'm like, dude, you don't know how much stress I had living worried my whole life. The last 2 years I lived knowing that I had this debt and that I was working for the cartel, and I'm in so deep, like, how am I going to get out? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm either going to die or get killed. And I got arrested, which was even better. Yeah. And people are like, oh, that's crazy. Wow. But I was blessed, and I tell people that's the best thing that could ever happen to me. Like, I'm here. You and I are speaking right now.
Yeah. I assume at the time the agents you weren't like, oh, thank God you guys are here. Take me to jail.
No, definitely not.
Wow. Did the caddy know the FBI was there?
For sure. Okay. He was so nervous. He was shaking like a leaf. He
was like, hey, Owen.
Mr. Hanson.
Let me get your clubs out of your trunk. Looking over his shoulder.
He probably was an FBI agent now that I think about it.
Really? Oh, you think so?
For sure. He was just
the caddy?
Yeah. I mean, literally, the whole golf course was shut down that day for this sting. Like,
oh, wow. It's so easy to park
there was nobody in the parking lot. And I told the caddy that. I'm like, dude, why is no one here?
Yeah.
He's like, Mr. Hanson, I don't know. And he's like literally shaking when he's bringing my clubs out of the trunk.
That guy, they're like, we're your first undercover gig. You're playing the caddy. Yeah. And the agents are like, wow, that guy needs a little more work before we put him in a higher stakes situation. He's like, you can't even take the bag of clubs out of the trunk before. Now that guy's infiltrating the Hells Angels or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's chief of operations.
Yeah, I'm better off at a desk. Man, how long were you under surveillance, you think?
Fuck, 2010, 11. I think so. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 5 years. Yes.
Damn. So somebody made their early career.
Oh, for sure. The prosecutor made his career off of my case.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time. At 5 years, like my kid is 6, and I'm thinking, wow, if I started an investigation when he was born and I made the arrest and 5 years later, and then still the prosecutions after that, that's like longer than my kid has been alive. That's a big project to think about. Wow. And I would imagine you're looking at Discovery, are they showing you photos of places you forgot?
Oh, yeah. Like you forgot. Like, when was that? Like, oh, you were with that girl there? Like, what was I doing there?
Like, oh, Fiji. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That was my layover in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, sitting at the Starbucks, getting a coffee. That's crazy. Oh, man. So this is kind of where the book ends, right? You go to prison. And what was the sentence then?
21 years and 3 months.
What are you thinking when you hear that at the time? Because how old are you?
It's a life sentence, right? 30. Let's see. I got sentenced when I was, I think, 35 when I finally got sentenced. So I'm doing the math. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be out close to 60. They want to give me a life sentence in Australia. I'm like, dude, my dad. I'm never going to get to see my dad. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all I'm thinking about is my pops. The guy that's been there since day one. I'm like devastated. And you look back and you just see that disappointed face, and you're like, man, what do I do? Mm-hmm. You're scrambling. And you're like, that's it. My life's over.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So what about in prison? Are you depressed the whole time, or are you like, look, I got to get my shit together?
For sure, the first couple of months you're depressed, but like, I'm okay. Am I going to just take this and just be this guy that's going to be moping around his whole life and eating soups and getting fat, or am I going to rehabilitate like that judge told me?
Yeah.
And getting that kind of time, it's obviously a time to rehabilitate. And Jordan, I'm accepting a full responsibility that, yes, I deserve to go to prison. Now, did I deserve 21 and a half years? I don't think so, but I did break the law, and therefore the judge makes that decision.
The drug penalties are way too high. But yeah.
So I do belong there. I'm not going to lie. But obviously, I was just going to say, you know what? Let's make the best out of this situation. And I went to school again. I went back and got my master's degree.
In prison?
In prison. Yeah.
I guess I would. Can you get a PhD in prison?
I said I would have stayed the whole 21 years, I would have for sure.
Yeah, because I feel like there's not a whole lot else going on in there.
Nothing.
Working out and go to school.
Yep, that's all I did. Worked out, go to school. And then once I got my master's, I started a business inside prison, and that you've actually got to experience.
That's right. Is that allowed, by the way, to do that?
No, of course not. But like, what are they going to do? Take my currency? Because in prison, your currency is stamps, right? The United States postage stamps. So like, okay, take my money. You guys go spend that. You know, like it's not.
So you tell me about because of the ice cream business, yeah?
I just was a hustler my whole life. I'm like, man, I'm tired of asking my dad to put money on my books. What am I going to do? He's got a life to live himself. I've already put him through hell. So I was like, I got to figure out a way to make money in here. And I'm not going to be selling the old ice cream. I'm going to start selling this new ice cream.
So they have prison ice cream, but it's no good?
No, they don't have prison ice cream unless you know how to make it. And I would literally take a peanut butter jar, and I put the milk inside from the kitchen, inside the jar, and then I would take the protein powder they sell in the commissary. I'd dump that in there. I'd take slices of bananas, put them in there, little swirl of peanut butter, and I literally shake it up like a shake, protein shake. And usually I would just put it on ice, get it cold. By the time I got back from my workout, I would drink it.
It actually sounds really good.
It's good. Yeah. It's just not with the blender. It's the same thing. You probably
can't use a blender.
No, we don't have blenders. We don't have fridges. We don't have anything.
Yeah, that was my other question. Where are you getting a freezer?
Ice.
Just
we're
ice?
We're getting ice from the ice room. There's a room where you can get ice, and we put it in mop buckets. So you can put your ice in a mop bucket or in a trash can. And then people put their sodas in there, their protein shakes, their whatever that needs to be cold. There's no refrigeration. So that's what I would do. I would literally make my protein shake every morning, put it in the mop bucket on ice, and I'd go work out, and I'd come back and drink my shake. I told people my mind is not in prison. My mind is out there in the real world. I finished my workout at Equinox, and I'm just having my protein shake at Earth Bar. Like that's how my mind.
Oh, you really? Oh, that's funny, man.
Yeah, that's how I made it work for me.
So is that keeping you sane, or is it just reminding you that you're in prison all the time?
That's keeping me sane.
It's keeping you sane?
Yeah, that's the only way I can mentally do it.
Yeah.
Like
it's a good idea.
Yeah. I played it right because every day it was like, okay, we're going to have this nice fish, which is a mackerel, tastes like crap, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're now eating this fish at El Pastel in Beverly Hills, right? Like you're just thinking like you're just making the best of a shitty situation.
Sure.
And
so does it? I gotta ask. So when you get out and you go to real Equinox, are you like, nah, this is definitely better?
Oh yeah, it's surreal. Like I literally go to that executive locker room and Magic Johnson's like right next to me. I'm like, you definitely weren't there in prison.
I don't have to worry about getting like beat up or anything at Equinox in Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
yeah, man. So the ice cream, I have tried the ice cream. You sent me. What is it? Tell us about it. Like what it's called and everything. Oh, you brought some.
Dude, I brought some. We'll let it dry on the dry ice.
Yeah. So this ice cream, you're making this in prison, you're selling it in prison, and then you decide, hey, I'm going to just bring this to the civilian world?
Well, what I thought was, listen, I was making these these shakes, right? These protein shakes, and they started to. I was like, one day they ran out of ice, and my cellie, he's like, hey, just throw some salt on there, and he goes, when you get back, it will still be cold because if you have salt and ice together, it makes it cold. It makes it like freezing. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get back from my workout and it's frozen. I'm like, dude, you told me it'd be cold. It's frozen. He goes, dude, just try it. Who knows? Maybe it's good.
Oh, so you accidentally made ice cream.
Yeah. I was like, dude, it's protein ice cream. He goes, dude, I told you it'd be good. And I'm eating it. I'm like, dude, wait a minute. And then I started making it for my workout partners. And they're like, dude, why don't you sell this? This is amazing. We don't have ice cream in prison.
Right. Okay.
Like very rare. Right. Like it's hard to get ice cream unless you know how to make it. And I'm making a protein ice cream. And everyone in prison works out.
Well, yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, that's all you do. 2 hours a day, you're in the morning, you're working out. 2 hours at night, you're working out. Like there's nothing else to do.
So the problem actually is nutrition.
Nutrition.
Because you got to recover. And if you're eating
the only good
shitty mackerel.
There's mackerel. I'm tired of mackerel.
Yeah.
And there's soups and there's like garbage, right? There's soups and Doritos and Zooms and Twix and bad stuff. I'm like, there's nothing that's kind of like a healthy, innocent treat.
So you guys are eating like pounds of whey protein in there.
Dude, we only can buy like 7 packs of protein a week, so one per day.
You're limited.
Yeah, you're limited. You can only spend $320 a month on food.
Oh, I didn't realize they limited you.
Yeah, you're limited. Yeah.
Why do they do that?
Because what happens is people start gambling in prison and they use that money to pay for their gambling debts.
Okay.
So
it's to protect you from getting extorted,
extortion,
basically?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess they have to think about things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So you're making something similar to this.
No, I got out of prison, right? And I go to the halfway house, and I'm literally sitting on my bunk bed with 20 inmates around me. And I'm like, dude, what am I going to do? I'm a felon now. I know I wrote this book. Okay, you can't make much money off book sales.
No.
I know the documentary's been already filmed and it's coming out, but I don't know when. And I'm like, okay.
We'll link to it in the show notes because it's out now, on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. So I was like, man, what am I going to do? And I call one of my old gambling customers. I'm lost right now. I told him, I said, I don't know what to do for work. I said, I have a good.
How long were you in the clink?
I was in the clink for 9 years, and I did another year in the halfway house.
Okay.
So 10 years under the Bureau of Prisons.
Okay, so did they just? So you didn't have to fulfill the 20-year sentence?
No, and I'm going to let people see what happened in the documentary because that's the only place I let people know. It's just that's where the story's at, of how I got out. It's very interesting.
Well, wait. You can't give a teaser because not everybody can even watch it. So can you tell us what happened?
I'll give you.
It won't spoil this because we already know a lot of the story.
Okay, so basically, I had a corrupt lawyer in Australia that was trying to get some of the money that I lost, and the corrupt lawyer was in on it.
And he was working supposedly for you.
For you, and United States government called me. 6 years into my prison sentence. And they said that corrupt lawyer is taking it to trial. And there's only one person that knows he's corrupt. And it's you, Mr. Hanson. Are you willing to fly over to Australia and testify against him for the illegal stuff you guys were doing? And I raised my hand.
Yeah.
I said, absolutely. And then the judge in Australia basically found him guilty for corruption and wrote my judge in America. And asked for a sentence reduction.
No way.
Under a Rule 35.
Which is what?
Rule 35 is a significant amount of assistance for helping another case, which is this case.
Wow.
It wasn't the cartel, thank God.
Yeah.
But it was this corrupt lawyer.
That's like one of the luckiest things that's ever happened.
I won the lotto in life. I tell people that was the Lord looking after me for sure.
Yeah. Wow. So they were like, we really want to put this guy away because he worked for the state, I assume.
Correct.
Or something like that.
He was a public defender, yeah.
Geez, and he was on the take and just trying to steal your money.
Trying to get that money back.
And he had done this to a lot of other people.
They knew he was crooked for years. The guy was like 70 years old, and they're like, dude, we finally got him.
Wow.
They had their evidence.
Wow. Okay. So you get out. Why didn't you get back into gambling? You already knew how to run a gambling
It's illegal. And so it was. Listen, okay. I take that back. It was not illegal at the time. When I got out, it's legal in 38 states.
Yeah. Why not just move to?
That was a good. Everyone's like, Owen, you'd be a CEO of these companies. You're great at it.
Sure.
And I agree. I would love to do that, Jordan. But the problem is when they found me guilty, the judge put on my restraints that said the restrictions are I can no longer ever work in the gambling world. Nothing to do with gambling.
Because, that makes sense.
Because the money laundering.
You're money laundering. Yeah. It's like when somebody gets with a Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, or Sam Bankman-Fried, they can never work in finance or crypto or run a business or anything like that because they've proven that they're not trustworthy to do that.
Exactly.
But you can run a business. I mean, you're running this business.
Dude, I started this business from prison, right? And I'm like, dude,
it's called Protein Ice Cream?
Yeah, no, it's California Ice Protein.
California
so I tell
Ice
people
Protein.
I'm the California kid, like my book. I'm like, I need to have something that ties to my story. I'm like, dude, in prison we call it ice protein because it's not ice cream, it's protein.
Right. And by the way, this is super good, and I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in front of me. I didn't even get to have the majority of this because I'd take 1 or 2 bites and then I'd be like, hey, you guys try this, and I'd turn around and it's gone because my kids and wife were like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So it's gone. Where can people buy it?
Dude, direct to consumer, our website, CaliforniaIceProtein.com.
I usually don't shill products so hard, but it's actually really good.
And it's a comeback. I tell people, listen, this is a second chance in every bite.
Mm-hmm. Nice. It's like Dave's Killer Bread type of thing.
Yes, exactly.
So how much protein is in one of these? Because
20 grams.
Each bar.
And they're 4 ounces.
Geez, how much calories is in each one? 266?
So we've redone the calories. We did a test last week on them, and we got the calories down to all these bars are at 200 grams of 200 calories, and the cookies and cream has about 20 more because of the cookie.
Okay.
So that's 220.
So that's a pretty damn good ratio of protein to calories. Like it's better than a chocolate bar with protein in it.
Yeah, it's like similar to having like a protein shake on a stick.
Yeah,
right.
no, that's really good. And my kids liked it. I know you're coming out with a kid version that's a little bit more because kids eating stuff off a stick is already a nightmare.
You got to make it small, like a Johnny Pop.
Yeah, you're full when you finish this. Like if you think
Yeah.
you're going to have it for dessert, you're not going to finish it because it's actually too filling.
I have girls that say it's a meal replacement.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're questionable nutritional choices, but sure, fair. It is actually more or less that. Do you ever miss the drug game and stuff? Like, you ever think like, oh man, that was kind of cool? Not that you would go back.
Listen, everyone's been asking me that. Like, what do you find that makes you like that feeling, right? And for me, it was that rush.
Yeah.
Like for me, okay, I was sending a pallet full of chocolate into Australia and watching it land and clear customs. But last month, when I first shipped my first 3 pallets to New York, and my frozen ice cream, which is harder to ship than cocaine, because we remember frozen ice cream has to be frozen 24 hours.
Yeah.
Pallets of cocaine, you don't have to freeze.
Yeah, they can sit in the sun.
So when that landed in New York, and they got my 3 pallets, and they told me that it's not melted, I had that same rush.
Really?
The same high, because I felt like, wow, it's just the same business principle, but with a different product.
If only you'd gotten to consumer packaged goods before instead of cocaine. Yeah. But then you wouldn't have thought of the recipe.
That's right.
Here we are.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
That's right. Man, what an incredible story. We'll link to the Amazon documentary. It's called Cocaine Quarterback.
Correct.
And that's on Amazon Prime Video, which most people probably. Do you get access to that if you have Amazon Prime? I actually don't know.
Yeah, anyone with Amazon Prime.
Oh, so that's like.
It's top 6 in the U.S. right now.
Wow,
Yeah,
good for you, man.
yeah.
And the book, we'll also link in the show notes as well, The California Kid. And people can order the ice cream.
Ice cream in the book, I let people order on my website, and I personalize each message and sign it so people have a little piss.
Man, the ice cream, though, again, really good. We'll link to that in the show notes as well. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it.